Hello, art teacher here with you again, doing the final part of the cross-hatching with color pencil unit. This is the fourth video in the series, and I sure hope you looked at the other ones. I'm going to review what was in those videos, but it'd be good to really understand what we're doing if you took a little look at those. Now, first thing I want to do is review what the other videos said. I would like to suggest some colors to use when you go to do your underwater scene with the cross-hatching with color pencils. Give you a couple tips on how to do it and give you a little encouragement with it. So, as for the review, first thing we did is on that first video, I had you draw out your composition. I hope yours is different than what I have here. Still being an underwater scene with a lot of overlapping, one thing in front of another, but you shouldn't copy mine exactly. So that was the first video. Then, after that, I wanted to talk about, on my second one, I talked about how to do this, how to do the cross-hatching here. And I said to fold the paper in quarters like this and fill 1/4 of it with cross-hatching. You can do more than that. That was my example there that I did. I would suggest you do a little more than that to develop some facility or some capability with that technique, okay, because it does take practice. But at least get 1/4 of a page done like that. And do it the way I went over in that video. Remember, avoid patterns. Make the lines the length of your thumbnail. Make them parallel, and you're doing groups of 5 to 10 lines per set. And you're crossing them on the corner. Go back and look at that video. It really lays it out how to do cross-hatching. Anyway, I did a whole video about that, and that's what that looks like. Then, I did a video about how to do a color wheel. So you're applying color now. In that video, you applied color to the cross-hatching technique. And the idea with that was, on the bottom, you were mixing 2 of the colors together. And on the top, you did a circle. Looks like one of those Trivial Pursuit ones, doesn't it? You did a circle with the different colors in this order, which is called a color wheel. That did 2 things. It got you used to coloring and mixing colors with cross-hatching, and it gave you a lot more practice doing the cross-hatching. So that's what we've done so far. Now, here's where you are. You should have your drawing ready. What you're going to do with this drawing that you have all ready to go is you're going to take your drawing and start putting the cross-hatching on it like I did here. When you put the cross-hatching on your drawing, I have some suggestions to use for color. Now, keep in mind, this is a very rough suggestion. I strongly encourage you to go well outside of these basic color relationships. But here's what I'm suggesting. Water, blue, and purple. Now remember, blue and purple are next to each other on the color wheel. They're good to mix together because they're next to each other. That's what we're doing, is mixing analogous or next door neighbor colors. That's like a major idea when you're cross-hatching with color pencils. When you cross-hatch with color pencils, you mix next door neighbor colors on the color wheel, analogous colors, but you can also introduce neutrals like browns, grays, and black, just different neutral colors as well. Neutrals are funny. I'll talk about those. Seaweed. I suggest green and yellow. Again, look. Green and yellow are next to each other on the color wheel. For the ground, I suggested brown and orange. And I even used a little yellow, as you can see here. orange and yellow are next to each other on the color wheel. But brown and orange, they seem to go well together. Brown is a neutral, so it goes pretty much with any color, but especially orange. And gray happens to go well with blue. So some of the neutrals do tend toward going in one direction or another with a color. Brown and orange are nice though. That's a nice color combination. For the fish, I'm suggesting red, yellow, and orange, and I have a reason for that. Again, those colors are warm colors and they're all next to each other on the color wheel. So those are my suggestions for colors. A couple tips. Let's see if I can clearly show you this on the camera. Here I have sort of rays in the water. In other words, I've lightly drawn out little lines here, and I have, even though I have a variety of blues, purples, and pinks in there, I make them kind of stop at the edge of those lines, and it makes it look like underwater. You know how you have rays or waves in the water from the sunlight going through the water? That might be something you can include. Now, when I say blues and purples for the water, there are many, many types of blue. At least here in my box, I have probably 4 different types of blue and 3 or 4 different types of purple. Also, I can put pinks in there if I want to, mauves. I can put a lot of different colors in there. That's why these are called suggestions. These are not written in stone, okay? You can go off a lot from that, and that's where the artistry is. That's where you're looking at your artwork and you're thinking about it and you're adjusting it as you go, coming up with new ideas, seeing what suggests itself. Oh, blue would look good in that area. Oh, I think I'll get some blue in there and see how that looks. Oh, that changes it, so now I got to do something different over here to make it fit better. Okay? So you're constantly looking at your artwork and adjusting it and thinking out how it's going to grow and change as you go. So it's not formulaic, though it's similar to improvisation in jazz. There's a structure to it. Okay? That's why, I'm giving you a lot of structure here. But you can take that structure and come up with improvisation with the colors or other different ideas that you could throw in there and get creative with and enjoy. That's an enjoyable, creative part about art. You're expressing yourself in the moment. Okay? So it's a mixture, planning things out and expressing yourself in the moment. And that's called the artistic process. Anyway, you might want to get those rays in the water. And I put red, yellow, and orange for the fish because what that does is it puts warm colors for the fish and cool colors for the water. These are cool colors. Makes the fish look like they're coming forward a little bit and the water recedes backward. Makes the fish kind of, turns them into kind of a focal point. With the fish are warm colors and the area around them is cool, makes the fish stick out more. So it's a nice way to use that color. Now, so that gives you a couple tips to work with, okay? So let me just go over what I've done, what we've done here. Right now you should be good at cross-hatching. You should be capable of mixing different colors together like that with cross-hatching. And now you should also have a drawing all done like that and be ready to put the cross-hatching onto the drawing. When you put the cross-hatching onto the drawing, these color suggestions are a nice jumping off point. Try to stick with them unless you start seeing something that looks cool that you want to go with. For instance, I put a lot of pink in the water because I thought it looked good. Created a little unity, and interesting things like a shimmering effect. So I went with that. So be open to other ideas as you go. Couple tips I put, maybe get some rays in the water just lines going across that you can stop your cross hatching and do a slightly different color on the other side of. Warm colors for the fish, cool colors for the water. And now here's the big thing. You got to stay with it. You won't be done in an hour. Okay? You won't finish that in an hour if your cross hatching is good. But what is good is, as you go more and more and you get more done, you get better at the cross hatching. You're developing the skill. So, even though if you have half of it done, you're way more than half done with the picture, because your skill level is going to be able to make you be able to do it quickly. You'll do it quickly, but still have it look good. Okay, and that's an important part of developing that skill. Doing it quick, still having it look good. And as you're doing it, using your judgment regarding the color. It's a fun process once you get going. It's a terrific creative process, this assignment. So stay with it. Once you get the good cross hatching and it starts looking good, it still might not be super fast. Still stay with it. Eventually you're going to start developing speed and making the cross hatching look good. And that's when you can really take off with it and start improvising with the color. Hey, I hope all that makes sense. Be sure to do your subscriptions, your likes, and your leaving a comment below if I was unclear about anything. And enjoy this process. Improvise with the color. You know, there's a lot you can do with this technique with color. Okay, you take care. Enjoy it.